Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to another episode of What's on the Playlist today. Today I want to talk about the Freewheeling Bob Dylan, an image of which you will see here. Let's see, Freewheeling Dylan came out in the spring of '63, and this is Bob Dylan's second album. His debut album didn't get a lot of notice. Self-titled Bob Dylan, but it only contained 2 original songs. His second album, had 11 of the 13 songs are original compositions by Bob Dylan, if I can speak today. And this album really showcases, his songwriting talents. You know, before this, Bob Dylan was an unknown, just one folk singer among many. After the release of his album, he became a public sensation. He became called the spokesperson of a generation, which a title he didn't like. Rolling Stone has listed this as one of the top 5, one of the 500 albums that you have to have. This is one of the first 50 albums in the National Registry of Music as being culturally significant. This album, really catapulted Bob Dylan into the public eye. As far as the album itself, it's a mixture of Bob Dylan's political thoughts, along with some love songs and some humor. Definitely showcases his sense of humor. The album, for background, I'm trying to be more professional. Trying to really organize my thoughts. I'm not doing well. But for background of the album, he began recording in New York in the spring of '62, in and around his apartment, and there's a studio in Columbia Studios. But he was writing, recording, performing some of the songs at folk festivals. He was invited to England to perform on the BBC television show, spent some time there learning British folk music. He went to Italy as well, hoping to meet up with his girlfriend at the time, Susie Rotolo, who is the girl on the cover. She was studying abroad, hoping to meet up with her in Italy. Unknowns to him, she had already left to go back to New York. There were no cell phones in those days, so she couldn't text him. But he studied. He got involved with the music scene a little bit in Italy. So his travels abroad did influence the final composition of the album. I'm not sure exactly how much, but he did say that learning folk music in England and in Italy kind of informed his decisions. A lot of people have said that this album, a lot of modern artists have said that Bob Dylan and this album specifically have influenced them. This is a culturally significant album. This is, again, one of those albums that was, if you were in the teens and 20s in the early mid 1960s, you had a copy of this album. If you could scrape the cash together, and even with the money troubles, with being screwed over out of his income from records by his unscrupulous business manager, he still was pulling in like $2,300 a month income from record sales, which in today's numbers would be around $24,000 a month in income from for a relevant salary. So it was successful. This is just one of those, again, an album of its time, just one of the biggest milestones in music. And I think I've heard every single one of these songs on this album play on the radio. Granted, not recently, but as a kid growing up, this was one of the few albums my parents had. I admit being influenced by my parents' musical tastes. Probably half of the albums that they had when I was a kid growing up, I purchased for myself, this being one of them. One other thing I wanted to talk about, one of the reasons I wanted to discuss this album specifically now, is there's a specific song on this album, which is Corina Corina. Most people don't know this. Bob Dylan did not write that song. It was actually an older folk song. He reorganized it a bit, kind of made it his own, but it's still not something that he wrote. It's still a cover version of the song. And I wanted to mention it specifically because I believe this is going out on February 14th. And my sister's birthday was February 13th. So, and I say was in a past tense. I don't want to be morbid, but I'm gonna be. I say that in past tense for a reason. My little sister passed away right before COVID lockdowns happened. So it's been a few years. She died in December of 2019 at the age of 49. Didn't even make it to 50. So, oh wait, she was 48. We didn't make it to 49. Time passes by. But my sister was named for that song. One of those things, the story that my parents would tell is that, they were trying to think up names. The song came on and my father was like, that's it. That's what we'll name her. We'll name her Karina. And lo and behold, they did. I'm not sure. I had things I wanted to say, I guess, about that. But I'm not sure what else there is to say without going into details that really aren't relevant. My sister was named for this album and she didn't make it to her birthday. Didn't make it to 49. Life's a tragedy and a comedy. You put one foot in front of the other. Don't think twice, it's all right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me be maudlin for a moment. If you like this type of crap, why? And until next time, good hunting.